Today our topic is the link between Stoicism and minimalism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Minimalism is a way of living that involves having fewer possessions and focusing on what truly matters. At first glance, these two ideas might seem different, but they are deeply connected. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach us to focus on what is important, to let go of distractions, and to find peace in simplicity. Let's explore how these two ideas work together and how they can help us live better lives. Stoicism was founded in ancient Greece by philosophers like Zeno of Citium, and later developed by thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. The main idea of Stoicism is that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. This means that instead of worrying about things we cannot change, we should focus on our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. Stoics believe that by doing this, we can find inner peace and live a life of virtue. Minimalism, on the other hand, is a more modern idea, but it shares many of the same principles. Minimalism is about reducing clutter, both physical and mental, so that we can focus on what truly matters. It is about living with less, so that we can have more time, energy, and freedom to pursue what is important to us. One of the key connections between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of focusing on what is essential. Stoics believe that we should focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not. This means that we should not waste our time and energy on things that do not matter, such as material possessions, status, or the opinions of others. Instead, we should focus on developing our character, being kind to others, and living a life of virtue. Minimalism teaches us a similar lesson. It encourages us to get rid of unnecessary possessions and distractions so that we can focus on what truly matters. By living with less, we can create more space in our lives for the things that bring us joy and fulfillment. Another connection between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of finding contentment in simplicity. Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external things like wealth, fame, or possessions. They teach us to be satisfied with what we have and to appreciate the simple things in life. Minimalism also encourages us to find joy in simplicity. When we have fewer possessions, we are less likely to be stressed or overwhelmed. We can enjoy the things we have more fully and appreciate the beauty of a simple life. Both Stoicism and minimalism remind us that we do not need a lot to be happy. We just need to focus on what is truly important and let go of the rest. Stoicism and minimalism also teach us to be mindful of our desires. Stoics believe that many of our problems come from wanting things that we do not need or cannot have. They encourage us to examine our desires and to let go of those that are unnecessary or harmful. Minimalism also encourages us to be mindful of our desires. It asks us to think carefully about what we really need and to avoid accumulating things just for the sake of having them. By being mindful of our desires, we can avoid the trap of always wanting more and instead find contentment in what we already have. Both Stoicism and minimalism also emphasize the importance of self-discipline. Stoics believe that self-discipline is essential for living a virtuous life. They teach us to control our impulses, to resist temptation, and to do what is right even when it is difficult. Minimalism also requires self-discipline. It asks us to resist the urge to buy things we do not need, to declutter our lives, and to focus on what truly matters. Both philosophies remind us that self-discipline is not always easy, but it is necessary if we want to live a meaningful and fulfilling life. Another important connection between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of living in the present moment. Stoics believe that we should focus on the present and not worry too much about the past or the future. They teach us to accept what has happened and to let go of regrets. They also remind us that the future is uncertain and that we should not waste our time worrying about things that may never happen. Minimalism also encourages us to live in the present. When we have fewer possessions and distractions, we are more likely to be fully present in the moment. We can enjoy the simple pleasures of life, such as spending time with loved ones, enjoying nature, or pursuing our passions. Both Stoicism and minimalism remind us that the present moment is all we truly have, and we should make the most of it. Stoicism and minimalism also teach us to be grateful for what we have. Stoics believe that gratitude is an important part of living a good life. They encourage us to appreciate the things we have and to be thankful for the people in our lives. Minimalism also encourages us to be grateful. When we have fewer possessions, we are more likely to appreciate the things we do have. We can be thankful for the simple things, like a warm meal, a comfortable home, or the company of friends and family. Both Stoicism and minimalism remind us that gratitude is a powerful way to find happiness and contentment. One of the most important lessons that Stoicism and minimalism teach us is the value of freedom. Stoics believe that true freedom comes from within. It is the freedom to control our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, regardless of what is happening around us. This kind of freedom allows us to live a life of virtue and to find peace and contentment. Minimalism also offers us a kind of freedom. When we have fewer possessions and less clutter in our lives, we are free to focus on what truly matters. We have more time, energy, and space to pursue our passions and to live a life that is meaningful to us. Both Stoicism and minimalism remind us that freedom is not about having more, but about needing less. In conclusion, Stoicism and minimalism are two philosophies that share many important principles. Both teach us to focus on what is essential, to find contentment in simplicity, to be mindful of our desires, to practice self-discipline, to live in the present moment, to be grateful for what we have, and to value freedom. By combining the wisdom of Stoicism with the practical approach of minimalism, we can create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. We can learn to let go of what we do not need, to focus on what truly matters, and to find peace and happiness in the simple things. Whether you are new to these ideas or have been practicing them for a while, I encourage you to think about how you can apply the principles of Stoicism and minimalism in your own life. By doing so, you can create a life that is not only simpler, but also richer and more rewarding.